Yo, what up? It's your boy, Scuba Steve.
Yeah, and I'm the Sodaholic.
And I'm La Chancla.
And today, ladies and gents, welcome back to another episode of the $5 Toppings podcast. It's a beautiful day today. Had 2 egg sandwiches for lunch today. You know.
Nice. I had pizza.
I didn't have anything. What the hell?
Dang. Speaking of anything, today we're gonna talk about games, movies, and cartoons. What makes them, what our favorite are, and what isn't, and and all that jazz. We got a full list of topics we want to talk about today, and hope you guys are excited. Strap on, put on your seatbelts, eat some hot Cheetos or whatever. Sorry, man. I had a long day yesterday and I'm low-key exhausted.
Facts. Me too.
School's getting it. Anyways, let's begin with the movies. I hear that we made a list of our top 5 favorite movies and kind of give a reason why. And Pablo, Adrian's not here. Pablo, give me your number one. No, give me your number 5. We're gonna start from 5.
Oh man, we gotta go 5 to 1.
Yeah.
5 to 1.
That's gonna be hard. Well,
yeah.
I guess if we're going 5 to 1, I think my number 5 will be I think Jumanji is my number 5.
Like the one with.
I like the new one. Controversial take right there. I like the new ones.
Like the newest one or the first new one?
I think the first new one is better than the second new one, but like both of them are really good, I think. I just cuz like my list is series except for one of them is not a series.
Okay. Why are we going with why? Are we doing that now or are we just listing them off?
Yeah. You kind of give the list, or you give the list and then you tell why.
Oh, am I going to go my whole list right now?
No, just we take turns.
Okay, then you guys go.
Wait, you didn't tell us why you like that movie though.
Oh.
He said it's far superior than Robin Williams.
So the reason why I like Jumanji is like, at least for the first one, and the second one was a little bit less so, but the first one, of the newer ones, was that all the characters played their role so good in those movies. At least I think so. Like the comedians were so good in feeling their parts and relating them back to like the original characters before they were into the game, which made the movie all the much better to me.
Right.
Okay, so Holly, what's yours?
So my number 5 is the 2007 Transformers movie with Shia LaBeouf and Megan Fox.
Oh, word?
Yeah.
Word?
Which part is
think
that? I don't remember what part it is.
The first one was when all the Transformers first landed on Earth, and they had
so
to
that's
fight
part
for
one?
the
Okay,
cube,
okay.
the Allspark.
All smart.
I will say all of the other Transformer movies suck, but the first one was pretty tough.
Big
The
facts.
first one,
I
like
could
the
agree
story
with that.
made sense. I wasn't bored. The characters didn't piss me off. Like their motives were pretty clear. It's a very basic movie, but they did everything right. The actions were great. They killed off some characters that I didn't think they would kill off, especially in a first movie. But yeah, I just think the first Transformers movie, if I'm going down the list, honestly, was one of my favorites. So yeah.
Yeah, I could agree that. Excuse me. It was better than the movies following. Are
we all in agreement that the rest of the Transformer movies suck?
Yeah, pretty much.
The fourth one, what was Age of Extinction? That one confused me a little bit. And also the title of Dark of the Moon, or whatever, the third installment.
Yeah.
Just the title confused me. Dark. Anyways, maybe it's a dumb reason they'll not like.
I mean,
anyways,
this is gonna sound props to Shia LaBeouf, but like all the movies without Shia LaBeouf, all the Transformer movies without Shia LaBeouf are pretty bust.
You even think Bumblebee was a bust? Do you think Bumblebee was a bust?
Oh yeah, I don't think that
Bumblebee
movie was
was-
at all like not nearly as good as people made it out to be.
Yeah, it could have been better, but it's better than some of the Shia LaBeouf, not all of the Shia LaBeouf movies though. But it's definitely better than all the ones without Shia LaBeouf, for sure.
I love how like their movies going down the drain and they're like, "What could save us?" Oh, Mark Wahlberg. Yeah, that guy.
I mean, Mark Wahlberg is really good at being in a whole bunch of action movies, right?
Yeah, but
Big
like
facts.
Like everything. That dude stay buff.
Alright, so what's your number 5? I mean,
But
my bad, Scuba Steve.
no, you're good.
My bad, Scuba Steve.
Number 5, controversial, not really. The live action Dora movie. I like it. Very.
wow, really that far up?
Dang,
Yeah.
I have not watched that one, so I don't know.
It's so good.
Pretty tight,
Oh
man.
man.
It's a pretty tight movie.
I thought it would be really corny, which it is, but it really got me because I used to watch Dora a lot when I was a kid, because Dora's a vibe, and so watching the live action movie, I was kind of crying the whole movie. I was like, oh man, dude, this is so good. Also, Danny Trejo plays Boots. Like, come on, man. If Danny Trejo is in that movie, because like Boots just says oh right throughout the movie, and then towards the end of the movie, spoiler alert, Danny Trejo speaks to Dora. You're like, holy crap, man! I've been waiting this all my life.
Wait, so he doesn't speak the whole movie, even though he does in the
No, he-
cartoons?
No, yeah, I mean it's a live action movie, my guy. I don't think monkeys can speak.
Well, they
Well, I
had
mean, in the
Swiper
live
speak.
action Disney movies, all the animals speak still.
Yeah, but the live action Disney movies suck butt.
I mean, that's also facts. I think no,
That's
actually, my favorite of the live action Disney movies is Jungle Book.
Oh, dude, same.
That one was really good.
I don't watch a lot of Disney movies.
But
was the
the
only
other ones
good
were
one.
pretty trash. I'll agree with that.
Would you
Alright.
say Lion King was like doo doo?
Yeah.
Lion King was not as good as the original.
Dang.
They had like
But-
5 minutes where they just focused on his fur riding in poop. I was so upset, man. I was so upset.
I do like the graphics though. The graphics were really good, but like the movie itself was not as good. My parents were really disappointed. All right, so I think we're going into my number 4.
Yep.
All right, so you guys are gonna laugh, but my number 4 is Pixels.
Don't.
I haven't watched it. Is it good?
What? You haven't watched Pixels?
I haven't watched it.
Pixels is such a funny movie. Like, all right, so I'm just gonna like defend myself
Disgusting.
real quick. My favorite genre of movies is action and comedy. So
There's nothing
and
wrong
so
with
the
that.
reason why Pixels is my number 4 is because I love Adam Sandler as an actor. He's like, even though he could be good in other roles, he's so good in like comedy movies. And that movie was just one of, it had a good cast for like video games and like actors you would think would play video games in that kind of movie, and that's why I liked it. It really brought like the comedy world to old video games, which was really good. I liked it. Excuse me.
Why did you say you have to defend yourself? Do most people hate that movie?
Well, it's not a trademark good movie. Like, if it was in anybody's, it wouldn't be in anyone's top 10, I don't think.
Have you gotten
That's why I
flack
had
for
to
liking
defend
that
myself.
movie?
I think it would be in anybody's top 10. Top 10 worst movies. Got him.
Have you watched it? Or
No.
Scuba Steve?
Well, I don't think I have. I feel like I have maybe like clips, but no.
You guys
So
haven't
I
watched
guess
it,
I
man.
just
You
don't.
guys should
I guess I
definitely
just don't
watch
have
it.
an opinion.
You guys should definitely watch it. It's a pretty good
Yeah?
movie.
I'm
At
gonna
least
give
for
it a
like, if you like comedy, you'll love that movie. I think at least.
So for me, for my number 4, it's not a very known movie nowadays. It was known, at least it was known like widely within my family at the time. But this was an old movie called Small Soldiers. That's my number 4, and it's a movie about these toys that were
Oh, I know
made
what
for
you're talking
children, but whoever manufactured them accidentally put military grade AI in the toys, and so they were army toys. So there were a group of soldiers trying to kill the other group of toys, but the other group of toys were designed to hide. So it was just hijinks between humans trying to get rid of these soldiers who have military background but who are also toys. And their soundtrack was awesome. Their video games were awesome. Their toys were awesome. I just, it's a good movie.
After you saying that, I snubbed a movie. Damn. Oh well.
I think I watched. That was on Cartoon Network or maybe Disney. I don't know.
No, not Cartoon Network. Paramount.
Oh, well, no. I remember watching that movie as a kid, and it's like, I forget which channel, but I know what you're talking about. I was confused because the monsters were the good guys and the army people weren't, right? Or the humans weren't, right? Yeah. So I was a bit confused. That's why I didn't like the movie, because monsters are evil, obviously, and go America, right? But the segue into mine, I'm sorry, I probably just cut you off.
Oh no, you're fine. You're fine.
Psych! My fourth one is probably Django Unchained with Jamie Foxx. Yeah, that one's really good. It's a good watch. Quentin Tarantino is really good, but it's probably one of my favorite Quentin Tarantino movies. I just like the atmosphere of Western, and the music was amazing, and I just like the cinematography of it, and just every character was played really well, in my opinion. But yeah, it's just a fun movie to watch, and each time I watch it, I always get something new out of it. Whether it be like the side character stories or the way it's shot, or kind of the reason why certain scenes are like certain ways. It's a fun watch. I enjoy it every time. And also, my favorite part, obviously, is towards the end of the movie, where it's just a huge gunfight and people are just like shooting at each other. It's really fun to watch because there's just a whole bunch of blood and gore, and it's just like fun to look at. But yeah. So shout outs to Strawberry Shortcake.
All right. I don't have anything to go along with that. You got anything, Soda?
Well, I mean, I don't know. The Django Unchained was a really fun movie. Yeah, I agree with everything that Steve Scuba, the Scuba,
Steve Scuba,
Steve said. So.
All right. So there goes. Brings me to my third movie. And my third favorite movie is Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh,
the first one? I'll give you that.
I like the series as a whole. Because it tells a really good story. At least like the story doesn't really break, like what you would think the story should be. It doesn't break continuity, I guess is the way to say it. And I think the thing that makes this movie. That really makes this movie a really great movie is that the casting of Johnny Depp as what is his name? I forget.
Captain Jack Sparrow.
Yeah, Captain Jack Sparrow. There we go. It was the best, one of the best casting in all of movie history. Like he fits
claim.
that role. He fits
Vin
the
Diesel
role
as
so
Dominic
good.
Santiago. Vin Diesel as Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
So how do you feel now that like Disney kind of boot Johnny Depp because of those false allegations against him?
Oh man, I don't know, man. If it's like the same thing as like, what if Marvel, when Marvel became Disney and Marvel's like, what is his name? Robert Downey Jr. you had a shady past. I don't want you to be pictured as Iron Man. So too bad you're not gonna be Iron Man. We're gonna put someone else in. But like, that's like it's like dethroning a person that's fit for the character. Like you should, like there's, I don't know, man. Like the Johnny Depp is really meant to be Captain Jack Sparrow. Like that is his character, and he really fits the role. So like, that's why I like the series, and feels bad that like stuff like that happens.
Yeah.
So you're saying that people should separate the character, like the actor, to the person? Just like separate work.
I think there should be at least some credible evidence. Like they should have waited until like everything was settled. Because like, I mean, if these allegations were true, I can completely understand. Like Bill Cosby, all the stuff that he did, you know, no one wants to like credit him for that. Everything that Kevin Spacey did, I love his movies, I love his projects. I can't say I love him as a person, and it gets hard to defend stuff like that. But in Johnny Depp's case, is that there isn't actual evidence for it. You know, it was just someone called foul, and then Disney was like, "You're out."
Yeah. Also, like Johnny Depp is at least from what I know and what I heard through media is that he's like a really good-hearted person. Like, I watched a video the other day that was like talking about how he goes to schools or to dang, something in my throat. Anyways, he goes to like schools in like character and everything to play his role of Captain Jack Sparrow at schools.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, like wherever he goes to like visit to do like fundraisers, stuff like that, and it's really like he's a good-hearted person, like, and it feels bad that like he's portrayed as a bad guy, I guess.
I would pee my pants if Captain Jack Sparrow came into my school.
I know that'd be awesome.
Pee my pants hard. I'd be like, holy crap, it's Jack Sparrow, and then he'll slap me and be like, it's Captain Jack Sparrow, and then
it's Captain Jack Sparrow to you.
I'll be like, I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry, Captain, and I spit on his shoes and clean it up, you know.
Oh, Captain, my Captain.
All right.
I think that's your turn.
Yeah, your turn, Soda.
Okay, so my third, right? That's what we're on, third. My third favorite movie is Logan, the one with.
Oh, that's a good one, man.
I have not seen that one.
That is my favorite Marvel movie, even though it's not like part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's still hands down my favorite Marvel movie. You have years of building, even though some of those movies kind of sucked, like. Him as Wolverine as a character has always been a staple, and it's always been like a constant. Like even if the movie sucked or not, the character pretty much stayed the same.
Yeah, no, it's like how I was saying. Like there's characters that are made for roles, and he was made for that role. Like he really made the franchise. It was a really good send off to a really good character.
Yeah, that's the thing that I hate about like certain popular movies is that like I feel like no one really takes risks anymore. No one wants to tell like a really deep story, and that's what I like Logan about, is that it was violent, but it also told a really great story, had a great bond between the characters, new and existing, and yeah, it's just my favorite Marvel film of all time. Big acting chops and this is, I usually hate child actors. The little girl playing in that movie.
Yeah, the girl fit the role pretty good too.
Yeah, I never felt like I was watching it like watching a kid try to act, and then you know, because that's usually how it goes. It's, a kid acts on screen. I'm like, oh, that's an actor, and then the actors are like, oh, she's going places. I'm like, no, she's not. But yeah, no, it was just a lot of great talent, a lot of effort, and I appreciate the film for what it is.
I haven't watched that one. I haven't watched a lot of X-Men movies.
It's definitely a great watch. I know you I know you like to watch the what is it called movies? The one with bro, what is it called? You like the really gory movies. This like you'll like that movie.
Mhm. Oh yeah.
With Keanu Reeves, what's the movie called?
Oh, speaking of Keanu Reeves, that leads to my third. I think I know what you're talking about. The John Wick series.
Oh yeah, John Wick.
Yeah.
You like the John Wick series. You'll like Logan.
Yeah, and funny enough, John Wick 2 is my number 3 favorite movie. I watched the whole series, and they're really good. They're fun to watch. Holy crap! It's just like boo boo beep, and then there's like the dog in the third one. He's like and then you know there's so much mystery behind it too, because it's just like this universe of killers, and you don't know like what's like how it works, but you kind of do, but you just it's just the expanse of the world, and it's just like the action scenes are really fun to watch, right? And I think number 2, in my opinion, has a good mixture of everything. After like watching it so many times, from like story to cinematography to colors to characters, it's just a fun watch. I especially love the colors. I love movies with good colors because I don't know, I just like, I'm a visual person, and so just watching a movie that's just visually stimulating, like John Wick 2, it's really fun. Highly recommend the whole series. They're all fun. They're really good action movies. Like, I haven't seen a lot, or I love a good action movie, but this one is just like over the top, really good. But I heard, yeah. Yeah. So, John Wick 2.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's a really action-packed movie. If you're into like non-stop action, non-stop gore, that's a really great movie.
I remember I was watching John Wick 3 at a movie theater, and like there were a lot of people going, because I watch these movies at my home, right? And so like I'm just like, oh, whoa, wow, you know. I'm not used to a setting where everyone's like expressing those feelings too. And so when John Wick is just like freaking stabbing dudes or throwing like tomahawks or something, and everyone's like, whoa, dude, whoa. I'm like, and sometimes it's kind of excessive, right? I mean, there are some scenes where it's kind of unnecessary to say whoa, because it's just like a serious scene.
He reloaded the gun. Wow.
Right. Yeah, and it's just like some dude like, John Wick, you're my biggest fan, and some dude's like, whoa, and I'm like, I'm also a John Wick's fan, but I'm not like, whoa. Anyways, on to you, Pablo.
Okay. So this topic will occur again. So just letting you guys know. This also might be controversial to some people, but my number 2 is the Star Wars series.
Yes.
Like the whole Star Wars series?
Yes, because
what?
This topic will come up again, so I don't know if I want to go in too much depth about it, because for my cartoon it'll come up again. So, and I'll explain it more in depth why when we go into that one. But for now, I'll just say that it's a really good story. It's a really good. There's a lot of good music in the movie, and a lot of the characters played their roles well, even though in some movies, like, the dialogue wasn't the best. But the story, the lengths they go to build their the backgrounds of the stories and all the characters and all the universe of Star Wars is just amazing. And it's a classic movie, and that's why one of the reasons why it's in my top 5 at number 2.
Do you? Okay. I kind of want to get into it only because like I'm also a really big fan of Star Wars. But like when you say you like Star Wars, are you talking about all of Star Wars, or are you talking about a certain bunch of the Star Wars movies, or?
Well, I like all of Star Wars, but like there are movies where I do not like how they went about it. But like after watching all of the Star Wars, I'm one of the people that like I understand the story and how it makes sense now, and like how each part relates to each other, and that's why I like the Star Wars movies.
Okay.
There's so much Star Wars out there, right? There's the books, the games,
and I'll get into more detail about why when we get to our cartoons, because like the cartoon I'm gonna bring up is gonna like tie everything together.
I gotta say, I also agree. I like all of Star Wars, all of the Star Wars.
Oh, really? Even the new ones?
Yeah, even the new ones. And here's the thing. Here's the reason why. Like, people complain that the new ones are bad. All of them are really not that good. If you really think about it, like, there are some plot holes in the original trilogy. I'm talking about, like, the original trilogy. There are some plot holes in the prequels. I'm saying, as a whole, I can overlook some of the things that they overlooked about the originals and apply it to these ones. As a whole, I like all of them.
I like all of them, too.
Yeah. But no, yeah, I just wanted to say that Star Wars is also holds a place in my heart. But for my number 2, it has to be 2019's Joker. That's my,
Ooh,
even though
I
it's
have
not
not
a
watched that one either.
superhero
Damn.
movie, it's my favorite superhero movie. It's my favorite movie with a superhero character in it, even though there's no superpowers. I liked the direction they went. I liked how dark the movie was. I liked the tones. I liked how the music plays a large part of it. How music, like at one point he'll be like super happy music, but then the it'll be drowned out with this looming, menacing theme to showcase his mind, like going deeper into madness. I love the whole movie as a lot of people say they like Joker because it's edgy and stuff, but I grew up liking the Joker, and I always felt like they never really brought him out like to the fullest. And the fact that they made him feel so real is one of the reasons why he's so high up on my list, even though the movie only came out like a year ago.
Controversial question.
Go for it.
Dark Knight Joker or Joker? So like Heath Ledger Joker.
So those are two very separate things to compare against. I think the Dark Knight Joker like definitely paved the way for us to have this Joker. But the fact that he's not super fleshed out, the fact that like a lot of it's up to interpretation and based on a person, that could be a good thing or not a good thing. But I personally prefer 2019's Joker because what he does is more impactful. Because the Joker in The Dark Knight, when he kills a person, it's like, oh yeah, he just killed a person. But like every kill that Joker does in 2019 is an oh shit moment.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I rewatched the Dark Knight series a while ago, and I kind of realized that Joker played such a bigger role in that movie, in the Dark Knight movie. Like, it's very subtle, but you got to really pay attention because I kind of disagree. Like, each kill wasn't just a kill. I feel like each kill, he planned it, right? But everyone just sees him as just this lunatic, this crazy guy that's just killing people just for funsies. But really, he's really just trying to expose good people, right? So I think I don't know. I think it's interesting. Both Jokers are really interesting, but I feel like the Dark Knight one was just they're both. I mean, I don't know. It's hard. I kind of agree with you on that one, but
yeah, I just liked how like with the 2019 one, like some of their reactions to like that fat guy getting shot, him trying to desperately run away, that was hard to watch. Seeing someone get shot in the face and point blank is really hard to watch sometimes, and that's what I mean. Is like they didn't hold any punches back.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to say is I really hope we do a Marvel versus DC podcast. I'm not like because this is Joker is a DC movie, right?
Yes.
Like, all right, so like.
No, it's Marvel
confirmed. Like the Joker movie is so different compared to all the other DC movies that came out, because like in most of the DC movies, they don't make the movies for like background or like to tell a story. They're really good at action, and to have a movie like Joker that is away from, or that's like better than all of your other movies that you've made is crazy. Like, they're finally finding the right style of movie that people want to see.
Well, that's the crazy thing. Like, this movie, the Joker movie, was set up to fail. The WB was not going to give them a whole giant budget. The only reason why they got greenlit is because I don't know if it was the director or the producer, but whoever was pitching the idea was saying, "Hey, we cannot catch up with Marvel, trying to do what they do. So let's do something they can't do." And that's why they made Joker the way it is. It's because Marvel, though great, and though, how vast the universe is, they can't make a rated R movie tie in with those main movies,
Yeah, I agree. All right, Scuba Steve, you're number 3 or number 2.
Number 2, I would have to say Parasite. Was really good.
Oh,
That's a good one.
Yeah, that was. I watched that recently after it won
movie of the year.
Movie of the Year and a whole bunch of other freaking like awards. But I heard it was a really good movie, and so I want to watch more international movies. I remember watching Old Boy and I was just blown away about, like, you know, just everything about the movie and the plot twists and all that. It was just a fun watch, and so I dived into Parasite, and holy crap, dude! Like, like I wasn't bored throughout the movie. Right, I mean, there's some good movies, or just movies in general, where, you know, it would be good, and then it just drags a little bit, you know, in the middle towards the end. But this movie is just, I just couldn't stop, like, watching it, man. Like, it was from the beginning to the end. It was an interesting story, and I forget the father, the actor for the father, played that so well. Holy crap!
Apparently, he's a really well-known actor, and
yeah. But yeah, and then and also the director, I forget his name, but he made other good movies too that I got recommended to, so I gotta hop on that. But Parasite was really fun to watch. It's an interesting tale about, you know, a family taking over a family, or, like, you know, the poor and stuff. But
it's really fun. If you haven't watched it, it's on Hulu right now. So
it's cool. It's amazing because there's a lot more to it that I need to rewatch it and keep rewatching it to like understand more about the movie. Right?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's good. I enjoyed it.
That Parasite was one of those movies where I heard so much good stuff about it. Like, most of the time, I always feel like it's exaggerated. But this was the first time where every praise I heard about it was true, and that's rare. That's a rarity. Another thing, so I know Scuba Steve and I argue about dubbed and subbed all the time, but realistically, I'm only putting up a fight for dubs. I don't really care. So when there wasn't a dubbed version of Parasite, I didn't really mind. But it's cool because in the movie they do speak a little bit of English, but only from the, like, it's only portrayed as a symbol of class. Like, they mention America briefly, and they only say, like, a sentence in English briefly, but they're supposed to be monumental meanings to them. And, like, in that case, fuck yes, subs are better, because, you know, when they when they start saying stuff in English, it's for a specific reason. It pile drives the plot forward, even if people don't realize it. So yeah, Parasite, good movie.
Amazing.
I have nothing else to add to that. So,
are we on our number ones?
So I guess, yeah, we're going to our number ones.
All right, before we move into our number ones, I would just like to shout out to our sponsor, Cheez-Its.
Cheez-Its.
They're good snacks.
Heck
Cheez-Its.
Yeah.
All right,
Nostalgic
back to you, Pablo.
Snacks. All right, so
Cheez-Its.
Right, so I want to preface this by saying this is my favorite movie because it holds, like, value to my heart, and because it was the first book series I've ever read by myself, and because I'm not a big reader, and
50
this
Shades
movie
of Grey
really stayed true to, like, the books. As, like, for every movie that was made based on a book, I think this is the closest movie that comes closest to the book. And so with that, my number one is The Hunger Games.
Oh. The Bible.
I really love the characters. I really love the storytelling. The only part I didn't like was part 3, part 1, because they shouldn't have broke it down to 2 parts for what should have been a trilogy. But I really like it because I personally read it was my first series of books that I've ever read, and it really stayed true to the books, and the way, by making it a movie, it it put the picture to life, and it was really fun to see for me, and I really enjoyed watching it. And I think the actors did a really good job playing their roles in that movie.
You said Lord of the Rings, right?
No.
What did you say? I totally was lost.
I said Hunger Games.
Hunger Games. Oh, I see.
You said Percy Jackson and the
Bro,
Indian series,
I
right?
would never be able to read Lord of the Rings. That's such
why
a
I was
long series.
I'm not a reader. My first book, and I was like, Lord of the Rings. That's a fat book, man. Good job. Hunger Games. That makes a lot more sense. Okay.
You said The Golden Compass. Favorite movie book.
Okay. All right. Anybody else got anything to add to that?
I enjoyed the movies for what they were. My favorite one was the second one. But yeah, I don't know. I wasn't too big into Hunger Games, but I did appreciate the movies.
Yeah.
They should have cut Peeta's leg in the first movie.
Bro, big fans.
But
that's not what happened in the book, so they shouldn't have.
No? What? I remember he got like a... Was it a... Never mind, I forgot.
The only thing that, like, the biggest part that they didn't put in the movies that was in the books was that, I think some part of part 2, they were in the woods, and they see a flying saucer, and there's people running in the woods, and they see a flying saucer that's coming from, I think, the capital, because the people they see are from 13, but the capital is after them because they were, I guess, trying to capture them for questioning or whatever, but I don't remember it fully in detail, but they left that part out of the movie, which is the only thing that they left out that was big in the books that was not in the movie. But for what it's worth, like, the movie stayed really true to the book.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anything to add to that, Scuba Steve?
The only thing I am going to add is the sponsorship. Shout-outs to pens. They're good for writing. All right, on to you.
So, my number one movie spot is dear to my heart. And of course, I'm talking about the beloved 2019 Cats.
Wait, actually?
No, not at all.
I
will make a case that movie has a lot of talent, and all of the blame of why it's a shit movie needs to fall on the director and not the actors, the choreographers, the singers. Like, every decision that made that movie bad is based on the director, because everything else was phenomenal, but the movie itself was shit, and I blame the
I'd agree.
Shoutouts to when they had to edit the buttholes.
I love the butthole cut, man. Also, Idris Elba did not need to be in that movie. He looks so awkward in some of those scenes. It's awful. Okay. But my number one spot is the SpongeBob SquarePants movie from 2005. Ooh. The very first one. That is my favorite movie.
I think that's the only SpongeBob movie I've watched, so I mean...
Yeah. I like it so much that I memorized it without even knowing.
The whole script.
I always referenced it with my friends, and then one day I just kept going with the scene, and I realized I made it all the way to the end. So
so like, instead of people that memorize the B movie script, you're the guy that memorizes the
I watched it so many times where I accidentally memorized the movie. Yeah. Other than I can't sing the songs word from word, but like I have like 86% accuracy for everything else.
What if I give you a time, like a timestamp from the movie, and then you have to, like, from minute 43 to 53?
Well, I wouldn't know that because I go by scenes, not by.
So minutes. you're not a true fan. You're just.
How much of the movie do you know, Scuba Steve?
Magoofi, Goober, Rock, do. I know when the guy stepped on David Hasselhoff. What's up? Never mind.
David Hasselhoff.
I'm a bail on that one.
I love some of their jokes. I love their facial expressions. I loved how when SpongeBob and Patrick needed to get to Bikini Bottom fast, David Hasselhoff separated his tits and used it as a rocket pad for.
I remember
SpongeBob
that.
and
Yeah, that
Patrick.
was fun.
I like all the songs. Yeah, I love the movie. And even though I love darker and grittier stories and more serious stuff, I can't help but say that I love the SpongeBob movie.
All right.
Wow. It's a good movie. I don't think I've ever get bored of that movie either.
Yeah.
Wait, I just want to say something real quick. I'm seeing how long this is going, and I think we should keep going with all of our other stuff, but like add timestamps to the description. So like if people aren't interested in like a part, they can just skip to like the cartoons or skip to the video games.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Because I like this conversation, but it's pretty long.
Yes.
All right. So with that being said, you're number one. Or I mean,
Yeah,
Scuba Steve. My bad.
Speaking of long, this podcast is sponsored by
Porn.
Rulers. You need something measured? Use a ruler. It wasn't funny. My number one favorite movie of all time has to be. I can't think of anything funny. Ratatouille. It's Ratatouille.
Really?
Dang.
Yeah, of all time. It's just, I don't know, man. I love the atmosphere. I love the characters. The music's great. The story's amazing. And it's just inspiring, man. I mean, like, anybody can cook, which is right? I mean, I'm not saying I'm a good cook, but I can cook, right?
Yo,
And the
just
fact
so you
that
guys
a rat-
know, this is for background of why this is his favorite movie. Really likes to cook. Like he really likes to cook.
Yeah, I do. and also seeing a rat, I feel like if a rat can cook, anybody can cook, man.
Bro, big
Come
facts.
on, man. Come on, man. And I don't know. I just want to be able. The movie is so inspiring that I too want to make a dish that gives the person that is eating my dish flashbacks to their mom's cooking. Right.
Damn.
I mean, that's
Crazy.
just the goal.
That's the goal.
They take a bite and they're just like, give mama. And then they have to call their mom and be like, hey, mom, I know it's been like 10 years since I last talked to you, but can you make me that chicken noodle soup you used to make me? You know?
So some of that Campbell's
Love it when you make
chunky chicken noodle soup.
Yeah, yo, I love it when you make dino nuggets in that mac and cheese. Can you make that for me real quick? I don't know, man, but this guy made me remember you. And the mom's like, who? So then, but yeah, it's just a fun movie. It's a good movie to watch and put in the background, and like I love the music and the colors, and it's visually stimulating. I like the part where Remy, Ratatouille was, eating the cheese and the strawberry like separately and then together, and it's just like this whole like magical experience of like flavor and color, and it's just really cool. I don't know, it's a very fun movie to watch. It's dear to my heart.
Agreed.
It could be, in my opinion, the best Pixar movie, but that's
Best Pixar movie is pushing it, but
yeah, I know.
but I agree. It's a great movie.
I love, props to Disney and Pixar for making that movie. If someone else came up to you and said, hey, you want to watch a movie about a rat who can cook? I'd be like, get away from me, you creep. But they somehow managed to not only make that movie, but make it really good. Like, really good to inspire and make me hungry and make me laugh.
Bro, I feel like
killed the man
Disney's
with
just the best at making.
That's hilarious.
I think Disney's just the best at making like animal movies feel funny or like good.
I did not like Zootopia. I'm just saying that.
Really? I like Zootopia. But like that's just me, I guess. It was a really good movie to me. Alright.
Well, yeah.
Anything else to add before we get on to our next topic?
Yes.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, actually,
Nothing
I had a question for you guys, but go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Scuba Steve.
Oh yeah, Scuba Steve, my bad. Bro, we
too
talked
late.
about this. I'm so bad.
It's okay. It's okay. Fine. Actually, my real name is actually Steve, but my alias is. But I enjoy like my real name is Scuba Steve. I don't know.
That's
I was
actually
born.
facts. That's actually facts.
I was born underwater. Came out with a snorkeler. Anyways, what was your question?
Oh,
Pablo?
you don't have anything else to add?
No, I was just gonna be quiet for like the next 10 minutes until someone says something.
All right. So, my question was, what makes or breaks a movie to you guys? Like, what makes a movie great in your guys' eyes?
Ooh, that depends. That really depends, because like my mindset for movies are always different based on like the mission. Like I saw Cats because I knew it was shit. I had low expectations going from the start. But for me, I guess if I want to watch a good movie, I need to be surprised. Like I need something to happen to where I didn't expect it, or it's never been done before. There's like unpopular view here. I don't like the Endgame movie. I didn't like it at all.
Ooh, like the second part of the Infinity War, right?
I loved Infinity War because they had matchups. They had like people working together that you've never seen before, interacting that you've never noticed before.
Wakanda forever.
And seeing them all die was like, whoa, what the hell are they gonna do next? And then the moment they're like time travel, I'm like, oh, okay, because they did the exact same thing in like other like original Cartoon Network movies, where it's like, oh, we all died, better time travel. You know, I mean, it's a good movie. Personally for me, it's just I've seen it before, and because of that, it broke the movie for me. So
I think we can all agree that the last scene where everybody comes out of the portals was the best part of that movie. But like, I agree that movie was not as good as the first part of that Infinity War series.
Yeah, I that Endgame was. I thought Endgame was better than Infinity War because, in my opinion, it wasn't too spread out. Like you actually followed the story of the heroes, and it was more compact.
Yeah.
But then after like much review and dreaming and hearing conversations, I realized that Infinity War is far superior. Only because that the reason why it was so spread out with the heroes because it was a villain story, right? It was Thanos' story that you're following, and he sees himself as a hero, not a villain, which is really interesting to.
Did people have a hard time following Infinity War?
I think a lot of people actually prefer Infinity War. Like all the conversations I had, a lot of people enjoyed Infinity War better than Endgame. But Endgame just like when I agree when the part where when everyone just shows up in the portals, I was just like no. And then but yeah, I was surprised in the first 15 minutes they like straight yeeted Thanos. I was like, okay, so then what are they gonna do?
Yeah, I know that was really anticlimactic. Like what?
Yeah,
that really didn't really serve any purpose to the whole movie itself.
Because then they just killed another Thanos, right? That didn't really.
Yeah.
You know what have made me like the movie a lot more? The moment where when the Hulk snapped his fingers and got them back. If that rocket that hit the base killed Ant-Man right there, I would have loved the movie. Because that missile came out of nowhere. Like they were at their highest peak, and that missile dropped like a bomb. Like I jumped back like, oh my god, what the hell's happening? But then he was fine. I was like, oh well, okay.
Shoutouts again. The reason why I love Ratatouille, because if you think about it, rats are amazing, right? I mean, the rat literally saved the universe in Endgame. If you think about it, because
facts.
Yeah,
facts.
Yeah, because they couldn't go they couldn't time travel without Ant-Man, but Ant-Man was stuck in the shadow realm, right? And so, but the only way to get out of the shadow realm is because of the rat.
Yeah.
So shout outs to Ratatouille, man.
Hey, and just so you guys know, that it's actually canon that was actually Ratatouille because Disney owns Marvel. So I mean,
Yeah. So yeah,
Pixar
Remy
and
not
the
only
Marvel universe had a crossover right there.
Yeah, right there.
yeah Ratatouille not only saves people with their relationships with their mothers, but also the world.
So,
Big
what about
facts,
you
big
guys?
facts.
What makes or breaks a movie for you guys?
You want me to go? I can go.
Scuba
Well,
Steve?
I mean, I don't know. I
Oh,
only
yeah, but
watch
yes.
movies. I only watch movies that people recommend me to watch. Right? So all the movies that I watch are like really good movies, or at least when I go online and I'm searching, like I watch like top 10 movies of the decade or whatever. And people like, you know, like Old Boy. I didn't know anything about Old Boy until I saw watch Mojo, right? Because it has one of the most famous fighting scenes where it's just like it's a long hallway and then he's just like, you know, fighting. It's cool, but right. But I don't know, man. I mean, I guess if it just if the dialogue is corny, like really corny, you know it's
yeah.
corny. Yeah. And not because it's corny because of it enhances the movie, but it's just plain out really corny. Or the story is kind of you know, too corny. I guess if it's just corny.
No, I know exactly what you mean. I haven't
Yeah.
watched the newest X-Men Rise of the Phoenix or something, but I saw a clip on YouTube and the line made me cringe so hard. It was one of the female X-Men. She was talking to the professor and she was like, "You know what? The woman saves the men around here all the time. Maybe you guys should call it X-Women." And then turned to her and walked away. And I hate, oh god. That was such a bad line. Oh. What about you,
Alright.
Flying
Wait.
Chonkala?
What about you? The spirits.
Okay. For me, what makes or breaks a movie for me is the ability for the actor to play out his part. So, like, going back to like why most of my favorite movies are my favorite movies is because the actors fit their roles so well. Cause in Pirates of the Caribbean, Johnny Depp was great Captain Jack Sparrow. He was made for that. You feel like he was made for that part. And in Jumanji, like all the comedians playing their roles all made sure they related their parts back to the characters they were representing in the real world, which really sold and drove the movie to make it feel a little bit more realistic. And then, like in Star Wars, Han Solo is like one of the biggest like how do you say it? Faces, I guess, of the franchise, and he plays such a big role in that movie, and he was pretty much like, if you guys don't know the story behind Harrison Ford, he was not even supposed to play Han Solo.
Han Solo, yeah.
He was like a janitor, I think, but like he got the part because he just fit so well with the story. And what else? Hunger Games. I really liked
Pizza.
this was more a little bit off, but like all the characters related back to the book. Like they acted like how they would act in the book. Like even how Soda said, like in part 2 was his favorite. Finnick was probably the best character in part 2. He really played his role really well. And that's what to me what makes or breaks the movie is the ability for the actors to sell their character and to make it feel like real, you know?
Yeah. With that said, I kind of want to get into the video game portion because I don't know. I want to see you guys' points of views about certain things.
Yeah. And so before we move into the conversation, I like to point out two things. One, our sponsor. Our sponsor, Green Folder. Probably wondering, what the heck is Green Folder? It's a folder that's green. And then my second point is, just going to Facebook right now, and there's an image. There's a meme where the caption is, "When you run out of space for your plants, but that won't stop you from buying more." and the picture is a piercing in someone's nipple, and it's a plant hanging from their nipple. Anyway, speaking of plants,
I'm glad they're the ones who's sponsoring us.
No. They're not. That meme is not sponsoring us. Green Folder is.
Oh.
Anyways, speaking about Green Folder, let's move on to video games.
All right.
So in this conversation, we're going to talk about kind of our top. Again, another list. It's another list. Conversation. It's going to be our top 5 favorite games of all time. And Pablo, you want to start?
I think for me, I think we could breeze through this. Like, a lot of these are gonna be pretty, like, I don't know. I don't want to like preface this by saying like all of ours are gonna be the same, but like I feel like we're gonna agree on most of these.
Halo 1, 2, 3, 4.
I'm gonna say this with you now, Pablo. I don't think I will, but let's.
Halo.
All right,
Halo
all right.
1.
So
Halo 2. Halo 3.
All right, starting with number 5, we're saying.
Yeah.
All right, number 5. My number 5 is Smash Bros. That is such a freaking
Like
classic, bro. It's a classic.
Like the first one? For the 64?
No, like just the series itself. Like you could just play any of those 4 or 5 games now. It's so replayable. Like it's so enjoyable. You can play with friends. Like it's a great time every time you play it.
That's true. Yeah, I played Melee. My first Smash Bros was Melee, and it's just I don't know. Yeah, no, I agree though.
Yo, apologies everyone. Go press pause.
What I was saying, after I was saying that all Smash Bros are fun to play, and I never get bored of any of them.
All right, to get off of Smash Bros, on to my number 5 favorite video game, Smash Bros.
Let's go.
Are you serious? I'm serious, but mine is more specific. Mine is Melee. I know it's Melee, but for some reason when I was a kid I pronounced it Melee and I refused to change it. So yeah, Super Smash Bros. Melee was my first Smash Bros. Game, and it was amazing, and I love it, and that's my number 5.
That's a good one.
Nice.
Yeah. My number 5. My number 5 has to be Halo 2.
Okay. We already know what your list is gonna be, my guy.
No, you don't. Halo 2 is probably my number 5. That's it.
Okay.
I'm joking. Halo 2 was my first Halo game I've owned. Got it for Christmas. Shout out to my parents. And because I played Halo 1. My dad had an Xbox. He had Halo 1, and so I played that a bunch. And I played a lot of the campaign, the multiplayer, like the local multiplayer with my siblings. It was fun. It's a good game. And then there was an option where you could watch trailers of like Halo and then Halo 2, and I just kept watching Halo 2 trailers because it was just fascinating to watch. And I asked that for Christmas. I got it, and I had so much fun. I didn't beat it though, if I can remember. I didn't beat the game at all. I like went through halfway through the game, and I don't remember ever beating it up until when it dropped on. Actually, no. So when in high school, my brother bought another copy of Halo 2, and that was my first time playing it. It was me and him co-op, me and him playing it together and beating it. That was the first time, and I was like a senior in high school or something. So it was just funny because the other day I was playing the remastered version, and I was beating it on heroic because legendary is freaking hard to beat on. And I remember beating it, and I was like, oh, I just realized that I don't remember beating it by myself as a kid. And I loved this game so much because it was just the story was fun, the battle rifle is just, I didn't like it at first because it wasn't the assault rifle. That was my reason, and I didn't like the burst. But you know, after playing Halo 3 and Halo 4, I realized how OP'd the BR is, because it just rams through every single dude in the game. But yeah, the gameplay is fun. The music, it was just so good, man. Holy crap. And the characters are fun. I also like the Arbiter. I didn't like him at first, but again, after playing Halo 3, you realize how important the Arbiter was in Halo 2, and kind of his story and his character. And he's a really interesting character to that's been developed in the game. But Halo 2 was fun, and I wasn't part of the LAN party wave because, you know, I'm a kid and I don't know much about technology at the time. But I did play with a lot of my family locally, and yeah, the multiplayer is fun, and I just never get tired of playing that game. I always go back to it because of the music. But yeah.
All right.
Yeah, you know, I think Halo 2 is like it's like exactly has the right amount of recognition, but I also believe it's like also not, because what I'm trying to say is, like, when people list off like the greats, Halo 2 is always at the bottom. But like Halo 2 had one of the best stories in all of the Halo games. And I don't know, I just think I wish it had more recognition, because I don't know, it did a lot of things. It did things a lot better than most of the other Halo games.
Well, I would like to say that Halo 2 was my favorite game, but I think Halo 3 is a far superior Halo game, because it has a better storytelling, gameplay was fun, multiplayer was just phenomenal. Like Forge, introduced Forge, oh man, and custom games is fun, and theater mode was just it was a really interesting. It was just fun to look back into some of your gameplay and see how like funny it is when you buy the grid and you're just flipping it, and you know your friend is spawning down and he's just constantly dying. But you know, Halo 3, I think Halo 3 is the number one Halo game, but Halo 2 is my favorite.
Well, we already know what Cisco's number one is now, guys.
Way to jump!
You'll be surprised.
All right, so we're going to number 4 now.
Yeah.
All right, my number. Well, I want to just say I never played Halo 2. The first one I played was Halo 3, so I can't really add on to Halo 2. My fourth favorite game of all time is Legend of Zelda: Wind Waker.
It's a good one, actually. Yeah.
I think out of all of the Legend of Zeldas, that was my favorite, because it was the only one I played on a console other than the DS that I beat. And it was really fun because the storytelling was really good. It's more of like open world, so you could travel wherever you want. But like at the same time, it's a story game, so you could either travel wherever you want, or you could continue the story. And
like an RPG. Oh.
That's why I liked the Wind Waker. When I first played it, though, like I never beat the story, because I got to a point to where like you had to go back to Ganon's ship, and I was so scared to go back to Ganon's ship. I was like, no, I don't want to do this, bro.
Yeah, that's a scary spot, man.
And so like the whole game, the whole rest of the time, I just spent like traveling around different places. And one of the cool things about the game was like you get to make this map, or like find different places, or like different squares in the map. And that was my goal during not going to Ganon's ship, was just filling out every square of the map. It was really funny. And but then I went back to it a couple years later, I think when I was like sophomore in high school, and I finally ended up beating the game. It was a really fun game, for sure. It's one of my favorite games.
I had a hard time with that game. I don't know. I don't think it was anything wrong with the game. I think it was me being a dumbass kid. But when I played it, being a dumbass kid, I kept getting stuck in the level where they take away your weapons, and like you're in a prison, and you have to sneak around. I kept getting caught, and I got so
Yeah,
pissed
that's
off.
the
I
Ganon ship
swore
level.
off.
That's the
Yep.
going back to Ganon ship level. That level's so hard.
I swore off Zelda after that level. I got so pissed. I've never been so pissed off before. Because I have my judgments on games, but I've never been that pissed off where I swore off a whole series. That's so beloved, and yet Wind Waker did that for me. But yeah, I don't think it's a bad game. I just know I hate it.
I think the scariest part of that game was like there was like creatures at the Ganon ship that made this weird noise. Like you hear them sneaking up to you, like they're like
Bro, oh my gosh.
Bro.
You know the scary part is when you have to get the third orb, the blue one, right? I forget what it's called, but like you have to you get to the island and it's cursed. Or Ganon, no, it wasn't cursed, but like Ganon went there first and just like destroyed the whole island. And
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and then like there's just scary music playing when you're getting to the Windfall Island.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's just raining and thunder. Oh my gosh, I hate that part, bro. It's so scary.
All right.
Shout outs to Tingle though.
All right, Soda,
Alright.
what is your number 4?
My number 4 is very dear to my heart because it had a great story and a great co-op experience, and I think this is the best one out of the whole series in my opinion. But my number 4 is Gears of War 2.
Gears 2.
I loved that game. They built up a lot of the stakes that was like in Gears of War 1, but this one cranked it up to like a 12. I liked the brotherly relationship between all the main characters. I liked how crazy the campaign got in a few times. And it was the first game that I played. When I was growing up, I didn't have Xbox Live. I didn't have internet. This was the first game I played where you could play with bots in multiplayer. So we would play. My family would play bots, play Team Deathmatch on Gears of War 2 with bots, and we just pretend like we're on Xbox Live, and it was the most fun experience I've ever had. So yeah, Gears of War 2, I think had a good campaign. But yeah,
I can't really speak for Gears 2 because I've never played it. I just want to say real quick that like I didn't get Xbox till I was like 13, so I missed like Halo 2. I miss Halo 1, Halo 2, and I miss the beginnings of Gears. So I didn't really get to play all of those games. I feel bad, but like I like the Gears of War series.
It's good. Yeah,
It's a good series.
I played a big ton. I was just obsessed when I was a kid. I actually wanted to buy a cog tag necklace.
Right?
Yeah, because it was just I didn't read the books. I read some of the comics though, but I enjoyed the Gears of War series. It's fun.
Yeah.
I will say as a side note, some of the what's it called, the gravity simulation in Gears of War 2 is still better than that of Gears of War 5. Just saying. Because like in Gears of War 2, you shotgun a person's arm, their arm will fly off.
Oh yeah.
But the rest of their body will stay. But if you shotgun the person's arm in Gears 5, their whole body explodes for some reason. So, Gears of War 2, great level of detail.
I would say Gears 2 would be my 4 also, but it's just contradictory, or not contradictory. I just can't decide between Gears 2, the trilogy, right? Because they're all good in their own right. The first one is very dark and gory, and like there's so much violence. And number 2, the co-op just is enhanced by tenfold. It's a very good co-op game. The story, they delve more into Dom, which is interesting, in some of the characters, which is fun. And the multiplayer was just phenomenal. Like they added horde mode, and that was fun. Enjoying like finding waves and waves of locust and
Yeah,
and things.
Horde was super fun.
But then Gears of War 3 came out. Oh, cream on the crap, baby. Because like that one took multiplayer or co-op to a whole different level. Right now you're able to play with 3 other people, right? And the story, which is I think it was a good way to end at least the trilogy and some of the parts of the games was very, it was like emotional and it was very like impactful. There was a lot of good action scenes, and it's a very, the storytelling in that game was, it's pretty dang good. But I don't know, they're all really good games, but I think I have to go with Gears of War 1 in my opinion as number 4. That's my favorite game. Solely because it was my first Xbox game, 360 game that I owned. So I guess it's very sentimental. And also, I don't know, I just like the atmosphere more because it's very dark, and the music just makes you feel there's like an eerie sense of post-apocalyptic. Yeah, right. It's very, yeah, it's just, and
that game was scary.
Oh yeah,
that game was, dude. I remember my brother and I used to play that co-op, and the first time he tried to get me to play co-op, I'm like, no, I don't want to play with you. Look at this game.
Yeah,
it's scary. And then he was like, it's not that bad. And then he opened the door, and like in the first mission, you open a door and there's like people's limbs
hanging?
and torsos hanging from the ceiling. I'm like, oh god, I don't want to play this. No, get away. No,
yeah,
I'm not
like,
playing this.
Don was like delicious or something. He was like, oh, this is normal. But yeah, no, it's a good game. And then when they remastered it, oh, that's the cream of the crap, baby. I know I said that for Gears 3, but when they remastered Gears of War, oh my gosh, dude, holy crap. It's such a beautiful game. Ugh.
The one thing I do like about, I know you guys are trashing on the newer ones, but the one thing I do like about the newer Gears of War is I love the graphics of Gears of War, like especially the new ones. It's like it's a great mix of like of arcade mixed with real life. It makes it so good. I like those kind of graphics.
I would say that 5 is potentially better than 4 when it comes to storytelling and gameplay. I think they're very expanded on gameplay on 5. But it's very buggy. My brother and I tried to play co-op, and it was very buggy. It took us so long to beat one level. Then again, we were playing on like Legendary or something. Not Legendary, that's Halo. Insane, yeah. So, because, you know, we're veterans.
Yeah, I'm glad you noticed that too, because I tried Gears of War. My dad and I play co-op now, and there were times where we got stuck because the game decided to crap out on us.
Yeah.
And we had to restart. Like, I got scared in some moments because I was like, we can't continue the game.
Yeah.
I don't want to restart this whole area.
Yeah, no, yeah. But other than the bugs, I think it was a fun game. But Gears 1. Baby!
Alright, anything else before we go on to number 3s?
No.
No.
Alright, here we go. Number 3. This one is the first game I've ever played. I'm pretty sure it's the first game I've ever played. This game is a classic.
Farming Simulator 2007.
No, it's not Farming Simulator.
Cooking Mama.
It's a classic, at least to me, because it was my first game I ever played. Super Mario Sunshine.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah.
It's nostalgic, bro.
Cool.
I went back
That game
to
is
play it
hard.
a couple years ago. Man, that is nostalgic game right there. It's such a fun game, too, because, like, there's different worlds. They build different worlds into the world of, what is it called? Delfino Plaza, I think is the main city. But, like, man, the story arcs behind, like, it's pretty much, like, I don't know how to explain it, but, like, it's just a fun game to play as a kid, and then going back to it is super nostalgic. And it's a story game mixed with like, it's not complete story. It's like story and action, I guess. But it's a really fun game. You get to explore different worlds of like all inside the small place of like the Delfino Plaza, and it's really fun.
I gotta say that I feel like that doesn't get enough credit that it deserves, because Super Mario Sunshine had so many things going for it. Like, every level or every world was super unique in its own right.
Oh yeah.
With the water gun, like bringing you to different avenues and different ways to play. The fact that they took away your your backpacks
pump?
in some
Yeah,
areas.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
The abstract areas where the theme song is a cappella and like the whole world is trippy and revolving and stuff. Dude, that was crazy.
And the dream sequences, when like the Ghost Mario takes away your backpack, bro. Those ghost sequences are really fun too. It brings a different element to the game.
And just the atmosphere of like the islands and the music and just the gameplay is just really fun.
Yeah, and the thing I like the most about like Mario series is each like section or each part of the world has a different theme song, which is awesome. It makes the gameplay even more fun.
Shoutouts to the harbor one.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Bam, 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 bam. Anyways, but yeah, Super Mario Sunshine.
Anything else to add?
Fun game. Fun game. I enjoy it.
Okay, so my number 3, it's very recent and it's typical, but I have a very specific reason why I chose this as my number 3. But my number 3 favorite game is the 2019 Modern Warfare that just came out.
Oh,
Mainly because of the campaign. I love.
Right here, the campaign is really good. I have to start playing it, man.
it's
like a lot of the things that I want games to do. I want games to take risks. I want games to do things that like most games wouldn't. And this game did that right off the bat and maintained that energy throughout the whole campaign, and that's what I love about it. I mean, even like looking at some of the dead bodies in that game, like it's horrific, and I haven't seen that in any other game since. Like I've noticed that the only games that like get away with like hardcore stuff is horror games, but then again they're like over the top, you know. So Modern Warfare's campaign is phenomenal to me, and that's why it's my number 3.
Also, like really it's a rated M game. You should, if you're gonna be rated M, like get away, like go to the extent of like actually going into like gore and stuff. Like and this game actually did it finally.
Well, to be fair to some games, like some games get shot down by ESRB. In Halo 3, there's a mission where you where you see a Marine that's like freaking out and he's holding a pistol. In the original plan for the game, he was supposed to be aiming it directly to his head and he was gonna kill himself. But ESRB was like, you can't do that, and so they cut it from the game.
Dang, this sucks.
Yeah, so we can get away with things more now, more or less nowadays. But it's just nice to see that they hadn't cowered out. 'Cause
Yeah.
with Black Ops 4, when they got rid of the campaign, I was upset. So for them to come back with a campaign and a campaign that's great, yeah, that's my number 3.
Yeah. One thing I want to say though is, even though I haven't played the whole campaign, bro, that first 3 levels, it really introduces you to like the world or the campaign, or like what you should expect from the series. And man, it's wild. For all of the Call of Duty, is so different than all of the other Call of Duty games. I think the closest one to it is World at War, but even still, it's not. It doesn't even match, kind of, because like in World at War is supposed to like paint the horrors of war, and which it did a really good job of. But like in the new one, like it introduces you to like a what if world. Like, what if terrorism really was this big, you know? And the Piccadilly one was crazy.
Oh yeah, Piccadilly was wild, man. And that was like the second.
Yeah,
the
that
second
was like
mission.
the second mission, bro. Like that was. It's a great way to start the series. That was like it introduces you to like get ready, because this is like how crazy it's gonna get.
Yeah, I'm so scared. If I want them to continue like with this new Modern Warfare, branch. I'm scared they won't go to the same lengths in the next installments, because I heard people were not liking this Modern Warfare because of its multiplayer. So
But it's good.
That's what I'm saying. But I feel like, I mean, there's been times in the past where a studio will make a good story game, but because some things were lacking, they completely abandoned their initial plan.
Bro.
Dang.
So I just hope
What
this
if
doesn't happen.
they
to
had
Modern
like
Warfare.
different companies for different parts of the game? So like, what if they had Treyarch for zombies? I think Activision is the one working on this one right now, right?
I think so.
Activision for storytelling, and then I don't know which one has the best gameplay.
There's an Infinity Ward, right? That did Modern Warfare 2.
I thought they did 1, 2, and 3.
Oh yeah, they did.
But yeah, if they could have like each, what if they had like each company work at a different part of the game? That would be crazy though. They wouldn't do it because that's a whole lot of money you gotta pay. But like that'd be
Yeah.
crazy. Just to
I
try
mean,
to
it
make
would be
the
nice.
best Call of Duty possible. That'd be crazy.
Because I never understood why they like branched. Call of Duty is one of those games where they could do anything they wanted to.
Yeah.
They have like several different companies working on different Call of Duty games in different eras of wars. They could do anything they wanted.
I feel like
So-
the way games are going now, the way they're like steering now is more like free to play games with in-game content. Like, what if Call of Duty franchise just took a chance and made a Call of Duty that will be the end all be all Call of Duty, and just added to it like how they're doing to this one? Like, that would be a crazy world to live in, though, for real.
I don't know. I don't like that idea only because I want a campaign.
Well,
you know?
like, you could always just have a updating campaign, or you could every year have a different campaign, but just make
If that was the case, I would be down. I would be so down. If they wanted to go that route, I have no problem with it.
yeah.
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 All right, Scuba Steve, number 3.
Speaking of yes,
Speaking of this,
anyway, so my third pick, it's funny because this game, it's kind of an older game. Oh man, now I'm putting. Anyways.
okay.
Oh no. Oh man. Oh man, I realized that my list. I have more for my list now that I realized.
You snub games.
I did. I realized that I did.
I snubbed some. I snubbed some cartoons. To be fair.
Well, in my opinion, I think my third favorite game has to be Metroid Prime 2. Ah, dang! I don't know, man. Metroid Prime 2. No. Yes. You know what? I'll just say Metroid Prime 2. Mainly because, well, I love the Metroid series as a whole. I think I played every single one of them besides 2 and the remastered 2. And maybe the pinball one. But Metroid Prime 2 is probably my favorite out of the whole series. It's close second to Super Metroid and maybe Fusion. But Super Metroid 2, my favorite game. Atmosphere, it's cool. I like how they kind of made the dark and light world aspect, and it really enhanced from the first game and kind of made it better, or they improved it a lot in the second game. And I also like the gameplay. Like, I liked how there's ammo for your beams, so it kind of makes you play more strategic. It plans out the way you go into a gunfight. Story's great. I feel like, and the atmosphere is amazing. The music, I love the music. I love all the Metroid music. I think the I don't know. And I don't know. It was hard because it was either Metroid Prime 2 or Paper Mario 1,000 Year Door.
Oh
That was
my
my two.
gosh! I remember that game.
Yeah, I love both of those games.
Damn, I never even finished that game. That game is such a good game.
This is my GameCube era, right?
Yeah.
And like I love Metroid Prime and Metroid Prime 2, but I always like 1,000 Year Door. Holy crap! Like like I didn't like it at first because it was an RPG turn-based game, but then I played it again and I beat it, and like it's just music's great, gameplay is amazing, the stories, the characters,
freaks, man! I snub so many games.
But
it's alright. My top 5 is pretty good.
But I just like the consistency of Metroid Prime 2, of gameplay, and just so top, that's my 3.
I missed out on the whole Metroid series. Like, I've never played a Metroid game ever.
Same.
Dang, y'all missing out. It's good.
I'm too young. I feel bad. I'm too young to remember these games.
I mean, the first Metroid kind of paved the way to side scrollers and platforming. That in Castlevania, right? And so, I played, yeah. And so, I don't know. I just never get bored getting back into those games. Like the replayability for all the Metroid games. I guess most of them. I don't know about the pinball, but most of them, it's high, right? I mean, I never get bored playing Super Metroid. People have, like, people speedrun that game, right? Watching people speedrun Super Metroid, it's just freaking blows my mind, right? And I don't know. It's just fun. It's cool.
All right.
Uh-huh.
Going into our number 2s. All right. I want to start this by saying I love this company.
Okay.
This company has paved the way for free-to-play games, and they're like, I guess, what would you call it? They're like the pioneers for like esports, or not esports necessarily, but like big time esports and evolving game over time. They were Fortnite before Fortnite, even though Fortnite is not even the same genre as this game. But my game is League of Legends.
Yeah.
I love Riot as a company. Riot as a company is so good because they focus on the state of their game and making sure they bring back players. And by doing that, they listen to their players and they listen to like how they think the game should update, should be balanced and stuff like that in order so that to make the players happy. And in doing so, they have such a great esports league. Like, out of all of the esports, I think League of Legends has the biggest esports brand in all of esports right now. And so this is like one of the reasons why I really like playing League, is because they really care about their games. And I'm really happy that the company Riot Games is actually making a new game, or starting to make new games.
Are they?
Yeah. They just announced, well, one of their games they made was TFT, which is in the same client as League, but now they're starting to make different games. They announced Legends of Runeterra, which is a card game, kind of like what is it called? What is it called? But it's like a card game, but I forget what the name of the game is called. But they're also releasing another game called Valorant, which is gonna be kind of like CS:GO, but it's gonna be.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, it's like a CS:GO game, but it's special because like they're taking some of the elements that they have from League of Legends to CS:GO, whereas like each of the operators have their own abilities and things that like change up the game, you know? And then
Yes.
they also have an RPG coming out and another like world building, not building, but like exploration game kind of. I don't know what we would call it, MMO or something, MMORPG, something like that, in that genre.
Something like that.
But like, I really like League, and I really like the company Riot because they listen to the players, and it's a free to play game, and Yeah, it's a really good game. It's lasted 10 years, by the way. So like, it's a really good game.
I've never played League of Legends. I keep seeing ads.
It's really
I've never
really
played.
hard to get into. Like I feel for people, new players, because it's a really hard game to get used to and a hard game to get into.
Yeah.
But like, once you play it, it's really addictive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've never played League of Legends 2, but I did watch. I don't know why, but I did watch a documentary on Riot. And yeah, I mean, you as a fan hearing that solidifies the documentary, because the documentary was just talking about the tribulations that Riot has been through, and some of the decisions that they made were for the betterment of the players. So it's good to hear that what the documentary said is actually true in the eyes of a fan.
Yeah.
Well, that's the only thing I have to add to that.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
All right.
Soda's
So,
number 2.
soda time.
Speaking of soda, this is sponsored by.
Dr. Pepper, please sponsor us, because I drink a lot of Dr. Pepper.
No, Coca-Cola, please.
LaCroix. Anyways.
Ugh. My number 2 is, it's another typical. It's Call of Duty, but not. It's Black Ops 2. It's Black Ops 2.
Ooh,
As much
you
as I love
snubbed it.
2019
You didn't put it at number 1. Damn.
Oh no!
You
No!
put-
No! 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 No!
Jeez.
No.
Oh
No.
man. All right, continue.
Black Ops 2 is my number 2 favorite game. Some of my best gaming moments, or some of my favorite gaming moments, was because of this game. I remember my buddy and I, when we got into a lobby, we convinced the whole team, our team and the enemy team, to play tag with shock, with the shock
Charges.
tactical. Yeah, shock charges. There we go. And so we would run around playing tag with the shock charge, with this whole lobby in team deathmatch.
Oh my
and
gosh.
it was the most fun time I've ever had.
That's hilarious.
That's wild.
I've never had an experience like that since. But yeah, I love the campaign because like it was also something that you made decisions, and it would affect the rest of the game. It was pretty bare bone, the decisions, but the fact that they were tackling that, and the fact that they were, even though there weren't a lot of decisions, there were big decisions. It just made the campaign like really nice to replay again and to just experience. But yeah, Black Ops 2. I also thought the multiplayer was just awesome. Like
Probably the
even if I
best.
wasn't playing with friends,
Oh my
the
gosh.
multiplayer was just a whole ton of fun.
Yeah.
So,
Out of
yeah.
all of the Call of Duties, I think this is the best multiplayer.
Yeah, it was probably the cream on the crop. It was probably the best one. Yeah. I remember coming back from
I'm gonna
yeah.
bring it up for my number 1 later.
I remember coming back. Oh really? Okay, never mind. That moves on to my number 2, which the Resident Evil 4 is my number 2.
Oh man, I could never play that game.
I played it on the GameCube. I played it on the GameCube when it first came out. I played it on the 360, and I just beat it on the PS4.
Dang.
And
Props. That game is so
Yeah.
scary.
It's
I could
so,
not.
That's why it's so good. I mean, I love the Resident Evil series, and Resident Evil 4 was kind of my introduction, and because my uncles and my cousins would play it and they would talk about it, and so I watched and I was like, oh, I need to play this game, so I got a copy, and I was blown away. And I always get scared every time I play this game. Even to this day, I still get like a little bit eerie and scared, right? I mean, and the story's really good, and I liked, and I played the older ones, and I love how they switch from like fixed camera to like third person, and it's just like, I don't know, it's really fun, and I never get tired of playing. Well, I mean, it was kind of a bit of a drag when I played it again for the PS4, but I got over it, and man, it's just, ooh. I just like how I like the guns are fun to use. The enemies are interesting, and the lore is kind of cool. The characters are funny, like and the Leon is just a horny dude. Right, his lines are the lines in this game is just so corny, man. It's just but I don't know, it's just the replayability is just off the charts, man. I mean, it's just I always play it and replay it and like all the features in the game, like you don't need to pay extra. Like you beat the game, and not only it gives you professional mode, which is the hardest difficulty, it also gives you like assignment Ada, and it gives you a separate ways, which is a different, like it's a side campaign. It gives you the missionaries, which is like, you play as one of the characters and you just fight enemies until the time runs out, right? It's just like it gives you more content, so you keep playing it, and it's it's a good game. Shout outs to the most famous line that Leon has said. Where did everyone go?
Okay.
Bingo?
Oh man, I wish I was not scared of that game, because that game's story, it sounds really fun.
It's scary, man.
My uncle introduced it to me when I was like 8 years old.
Same, actually.
I actually could not play the game. I could not. It's so bad. Man. But yeah, I hear the story is really fun, and I played like the first level, and after that I was like, nope, I'm good.
I also like the freak, man. Never mind, I'll get back to you in a bit. Let me think. The dude where you buy your stuff from. Freak.
Like the merchant guy?
The merchant. That's his name. It's such a simple name. But yet there's no one knows anything about this dude. Like he's the most mysterious person of the whole game. Like he literally just shows up and he's like, what are you buying? Like, what?
Okay.
I don't know. Can I? He shows you the shirt, and then he has a whole arsenal of like guns. And I don't know. Anyways, I could talk about that game forever.
Yeah, I never. Same as Pablo, the Flying Chocolate. That was not a game I could get into because I was too scared. I played my first Resident Evil game was the 5th one, and apparently that game was shit. But it was fun for me. It wasn't that scary, but yeah.
5 is good when you're playing with someone else. By yourself,
Yeah.
it's doo-doo. But
All right, are we going into number ones now?
yeah,
Yep.
Already announced my number one. But my number one, I really like the Call of Duty series. I really do. It's
it's a classic.
It is a classic, bro. I started with the actual first Call of Duty. It's like Call of Duty Medal of Honor. That's like the first Call of Duty I played. And
That's the Medal of Honor?
That's not it.
that's not it.
No, Medal of Honor is a different game.
It's a different game. What was the first one then? I forget.
The first one,
Call of Duty.
It's just called Duty. Yeah,
never
the first
mind
one's
then.
Call of Duty.
Medal of Honor.
I
is
still
its
played
own
the first
series.
one. I remember playing the first one. But like I thought that was what the actual title was for it, but I guess not.
Your favorite Call of Duty game is a Medal of Honor game.
No, I just thought that was the title name. I just thought that was the title name. I didn't.
Yeah, that's funny.
It's just because like when I played the first one, my uncle had the first one and Medal of Honor, so I guess I just
Oh yeah.
I combined the titles, I guess. But yeah, I played the first one, and I just grew up with the franchise, and it was really fun. It's really fun game to play. I think of the series, I had to say Black Ops 2 is my favorite, because I'm not a big, at least for like Call of Duty games, I'm not a big into their campaigns, because there's games that have better campaigns. than Call of Duty, but like for
Spec Ops the line.
for a multiplayer game, it's like the best multiplayer game, I think.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it was just well balanced. Guns were fun to use.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and if I had to like build my favorite Call of Duty, I think, man, jeez, I think it'd have to be like something like this campaign, this most recent campaign with the time to kill of Call of Duty Ghost, with the guns and like the map styles of what is it called, Black Ops 2, and score streaks. Man, what game has the best score streaks? I don't know. But controversial topic. I like the movement system of. I already told Cisco this, but I like the movement system of Advanced Warfare.
Oh my
I like
God.
the boosting.
Yeah, he told me. Yeah. I
No, the reason why I'm saying oh my god is because that game, that Advanced Warfare and Modern Warfare Infinite or something, those games aren't as bad as people say.
Yeah, no, they're not.
You live your life, man. Those games are not bad.
I like
Especially Modern Warfare or Advanced or not Infinite Warfare.
Yeah,
Infinite Warfare.
it's
That
Infinite
game is
Warfare and
amazing.
Advanced Warfare were the two that were people hated the most, I think.
Yeah.
Also,
Man.
controversial topic, bring back Ghost 2, man. Come on. Finish the story, please. Also, like, oh man. Like, I understand why people were mad because it's so much different than like the older Call of Duties, but like at the same time, Call of Duty is an arcade game. Like, and the reason why they went that direction with the game is because a game that just came out was Titanfall, and they had to compete with Titanfall because of
superior
the,
game.
yeah, Titanfall is also a really good game. I like
Yeah.
Titanfall, but like, I like the movement system. It brought something special to the game, and it was so fun just to play with friends, and it was so high paced. It made the game really interesting, and it made it to where like you don't have to be the best aimer to be good at the game, because you could just outplay someone, and I like that part of the game. And that's why I like about Advanced Warfare at least. But yeah,
I stand with you, Flying Chocolate. Those games were not as bad as people say.
I don't know, man. Timefall 2 was better. If you're talking about like movement, it was just easier to, because I'm not into like that fast pacing gaming when it comes to.
well, yeah,
first person.
I could see where you get the frustration of like the people, but like
Yeah. I don't know. It was just too fast in my
Yeah.
opinion. But Timefall 2 had a real balance of movement in my opinion, and it was just a fun game to play. I put so many hours in that.
It's a shame that Titanfall 1 like is dead.
yeah.
You know, it's a multiplayer only, and no one's playing.
Yeah.
It. It's frustrating, but I can understand.
But yeah, if I had to pick one Call of Duty, it'd be definitely Black Ops 2, for sure.
All right. Okay. Is it soda? Is it
Yes!
soda time?
Yeah, soda time.
Yes.
Okay.
That
So,
was a weird yes. I apologize.
Everything that I'm about to say is controversial and very frowned upon, but I don't care because I have reasons.
Babysitting mama.
My number one video game is Halo 4.
Oh snaps!
Halo
Here we
4
go.
is, in my opinion, the best Halo game out of the entire series. It had the best story. It had
Sis is
like
gonna
one
hate
of
you
the
now.
greatest multiplayers. And a lot of the flack that this game gets, I don't believe is well deserved, because everything that the game implemented, other than so the two main complaints about Halo 4 that I understand completely is that kill cams that's a ripoff of Call of Duty for sure.
Yeah.
And the other complaint that I completely understand is them changing the graphics, and I think that is the main reason why people don't like this game. I truly believe that is the main reason why they don't like this game, is because it doesn't look like Halo. A lot of people say that it doesn't feel like Halo, and I ask them, what do you mean? And they don't have an answer for me. When they're like, well, it has sprint. Well, Halo Reach had sprint. But no, Halo, it was under an armor ability. Well, Halo 4 has armor abilities. People were complaining about how the story was too complicated for some reason, but then you go back to Halo 2, you go back to Halo Reach, where the final levels of Halo Reach implies that you go underneath a secret base to acquire an alien AI that's also human AI. It's always been super complicated, and I think a lot of people just did not like Halo 4 because it was under a new umbrella and a new look. Even though the multiplayer had like what's it called, kill streaks, I guess, even then I could kind of defend it, because in Halo Reach they had ordnance in the firefight. That's what they did with the multiplayer in Halo 4. People hated how Halo 4 had customizable loadouts and different loadouts, but Halo Reach had different loadouts as well. But then people argue that Halo Reach was because of certain game types, but there are other game types where you don't. But that's also the case in Halo 4. So a lot of the push that I see for Halo 4 is not well deserved, because it's always been a Halo thing or been established in another Halo game.
Yeah.
Controversial topic
Preach.
or comment. I do not think Halo 3 and Reach are as good as people say.
Dang.
Oh,
no.
Yeah.
man.
I get
Halo Reach.
I get
I have
Reach.
never liked Halo Reach. Back in 2010, I still did not like Halo Reach. I did not like the campaign. I did not like the characters. I felt like the characters were all stereotypical. The big guy with the giant gun but the heart of gold, the leader who will die for his team but doesn't really do anything else other than die for his team, the woman who is the only woman on the team but she has the strongest voice because some reason, the cool guy who has a shotgun but who's really stoic and badass, but that's basically it. The exotic sniper guy. Like, I've seen these tropes before, and the thing is,
You're ending
these
Cisco's
characters,
life. I mean,
dude,
Scuba
well,
Steve's
that's
life.
the thing. People can argue with me that I'm wrong, but I'm telling you why I think these ways. Okay, you can have these characters. These characters can work, but the reason why I don't like them in Reach is because they don't do anything.
Yeah, that's true.
They're tropes.
Yeah, that's true.
In Halo 4, Master Chief is a silent guy throughout the whole series, but the reason why I like him a lot in 4 is because he deals with characters that bring out his humanity. Throughout the whole game, Master Chief is trying to talk to Cortana to calm her down because she's going crazy. She's killing herself by thinking too much. And throughout the whole game, he's trying to comfort her. He meets other characters in points where he has to comfort them as well. Even though he's like a giant robot guy who has like social issues, he still finds a way to bring out his humanity because of these characters. And that's what Halo Reach was missing.
Dang.
Them on their own wasn't enough for me to say, oh, that was an amazing story. It was a good story. I'm not saying it was a bad story, but I did not like it when it first came out because it was the most anticipated game out there. Okay,
It
and
was.
Halo
It was.
3, it was, and I was so let down by it. I understand why people like it, but me personally, I did not. Halo 3, another one. This is okay. This one, this one is a controversial comment, but it's a newfound criticism. Because when I first played Halo, whenever I voice my issues with these Halo games, people are like, "Oh, you're not a true Halo fan." I grew up playing Halo 1 since 2001. I've been there since the beginning. Yeah, I've grew up with the franchise. Halo 3, I loved it when it came out in 2007. Now that I go back and play it, that game is not good in the sense of the rest of the games. The multiplayer, you can argue I suck at the multiplayer, so maybe I'm a little bit biased. But the campaign is not as good as people say it is. The Arbiter, who had a ton of dialogue in Halo 2, who had a bunch of scenes, he has nothing in Halo 3. He's not even there if you're playing by yourself. That's how much of a character is thrown away. he says 2 lines and then he's gone. If you're playing single player, like it's multiple choice. If you're playing with a co-op person, he's there, and if not, he's not. You know, he's always as a background guy. And then some of the characters that had depth to them was stripped down. The Gravemind, who was talking very stoic in poetic terms, he does nothing in Halo 3. He just laughs evilly, and it felt super cliched. And that was my problem with Halo 3's campaign, is that with the strides that Halo 2 took, Halo 3 took 5 steps down, which is frustrating for me to say, and it breaks my heart too, but it's not as good as people remember it to be. And
Crazy.
yeah, I mean, that's my view on it, you know? So Halo 4 is my number 1. Yeah.
Dang, controversial takes all around. Let's see. Let's see if Scuba Steve. Are you gonna make it controversial all around?
I guess. I guess my number
Scuba
1.
Steve's still crying, guys. I'm sorry.
No, it's good. He has his right to his own opinion. I disagree, but it makes sense. But I guess to keep the controversial circle going around.
I mean, you don't have to make it controversial. You don't want to.
Well, just say your point.
Yeah, just say your number 1.
Yeah, my number one game of all time is Where's Mario. It has, because you play as Luigi.
Wait, so again, I couldn't hear you. You cut off.
Yeah, your voice kind of cut off.
It's Where's Mario.
Where's Mario? What?
Because it's a game about you as Luigi, and you have to find Mario. But in order to find Mario, you have to go through historic places and events and solve them. It's God of War. I like God of War.
I was like, what the heck? I've never heard of this game before.
God of War 2018 is probably my number 1 game of all time, and it forever will be until the next one comes out, and hopefully
until the next one. Yep.
And hopefully they make it 10 times better. My anticipation for the next game is just, it's over the top, right? And so, but I've always played the God of War series my whole life. I played every single one besides the mobile one I didn't know existed, but I played, yeah. And 1 was a classic. 2 is probably the best one. 3 is just fun to play, and the graphics are amazing, and and Ascension, and then the PSP ones were fun to play, little short games. But God of War, I was skeptical at first playing God of War, because it's a totally different game. Like, it's a reboot, remake, new game. Like, it's just right. But playing it, I played it once, and I played it once and I was just blown away. I couldn't put it down, dude. Like, it's just oh man. Like, you play as the character, you play as someone who you played as, who was just vicious, right? All he wanted was blood. He just kept killing people because, that was it, right? It was just vengeance, and he was just following orders, and all he did was just kill people, right? But in this one, it's not laid back, but it's more like, it's more serious, right?
You see more humanity to the
yeah. Like, it adds, or there's a lot more dialogue between Kratos and his son, right? And you become attached to Kratos, right? Because, like, now he's just toned down, and he's trying to, he's, in a sense, he's trying to grow up to be a father, right? He's trying to learn how to be like a good person, right? So the story was it's just amazing. Like, the storytelling in that game, right? Like, there's some moments where, like, I'd cry a little bit, because it's like, oh man, Kratos, dude, you like the part where, spoilers, the part where he laughs, Kratos laughs, he's just like, I'm like, oh man, because it's just him and his son having like a heart to heart, or not really a heart to heart, but they're just vibing, right? And it's just like, oh man. But yeah, and then the gameplay, come on man. And the previous games, it's a hack and slash, right? So you're just mowing down hoes and respected women, and but like you're just mowing down monsters and people, and you're just like killing them, right? But in this game, it's like each hit has weight, right?
Yeah.
Like the axe, like you feel the strength when he's hitting people, and right. I mean, the previous games, there's combos, like it's all based on combos, right? Like God of War 3, like they're all in focus is how high I can get with combos, right? But in this new one, it's more is like how strong can I be with the axe, right? And like, and then also I have to be more. I just recently beat the game on Give Me God of War, which is the hardest difficulty, and it was really hard, obviously, but you have to be smart about how you approach the battlefield, right? The enemies and right, and you're specific in how you move and how you hit, and how you use Atreus, and also Atreus. Great AI, amazing AI. Like it's just good character, but good character and good AI. Oh man.
Dude, every time he gave me health was like.
Oh yeah. Especially in Give Me God of War, like it was very helpful. But like this game is just so well balanced with like storytelling and gameplay and atmosphere and the setting and the dialogue, and it's just like ooh. I never get bored playing the game, and I'm like I want to get back into it, but I know I just don't want to get tired of it, right? And so I'm replaying God of War 3, but like it's just a fun. Also, another thing, one thing about it too is when you're traveling on the boat, right? Like it's not boring, right? Because they tell stories. Kratos tries to tell little stories, or the Mimir, when you get Mimir, he tells stories, but it's like there's never a time where like space is empty, right?
Right.
And if it is, there's meaning behind it, but like when you're traveling, especially, like those are the times where you learn about the lore and the characters, and it's just kind of cool, right? I mean, and I don't know, man. God of War is just I've always had fun playing that series, but this one, cream of the crop, man. Cream of the crop, baby.
That game was one of those games where once you're done, you put the controller down and you just think of the adventure that you just.
Oh yeah.
It's an amazing game.
Oh yeah, and the pacing. Oh my gosh, the pacing of this game is so good. Right.
You know, because it's weird because I've never played a God of War before it, and I recognize how great of a game it is. Like, it's on its own, it's still a great game. I can only imagine what a longtime fan would feel.
Oh yeah.
You know,
oh, yeah.
seeing Athena or seeing like familiar tools. And stuff. It's just I could hardly imagine. But even though I didn't experience the same level, it was still a phenomenal game.
I can't add anything to it. I've only played it once, and it was like for one level.
Oh, my bad. My roommate's calling me. Yeah, I know. I'm talking about God of War.
Okay.
Because that's how good that game is.
Okay. All right. So I have a question for you guys then. To close out this conversation, what separates? Or no, actually, I have a better question, because there's a lot of people that don't like video games or don't like people who play video games. So,
oh shit.
So my question would be, what do you like? What would you say to someone that doesn't like playing video games? Like, how would you explain it to them as like, worthwhile to play? I guess. What makes a game, playing video games, worthwhile?
I'll hand him a controller and play Super Mario. Super Mario is probably it's a really good introduction to games. Like, it's a simple side scroller. There's not that much violence, but there's also a great, like a tiny bit of good story. The characters are fun. The music's great. And platforming's fun. But like, yeah, I just say that not all games are the same, but the feeling you get from playing these games are right. No matter what you're playing, like MMOs or RPGs or first person or whatever, you feel accomplished, right? In some sense, right? And like you want to keep going, right? I mean, that's why I love God of War, because like each quest that I completed, I felt so accomplished, but I knew there was more to it, right? And so I wanted to keep playing, right? But yeah, I mean, some people, I mean, they're also, I realized like actually like playing God of War 3, sometimes I feel like it's just become mindless, right? Because you're just slashing dudes, right? And that's
Yeah.
it. Like you're just pressing buttons and that's it. Like there's nothing you're really accomplishing in real life, just in this game. But I don't know, like when you do play certain games, there's communities that you build, like Super Smash Bros. Or like yeah, like Super Smash Bros. Right? There's like a whole fan base of people playing it, or like people that speed run games. I can't do it myself, but it's just amazing how people can figure out how to like like especially if you don't use glitches are always what it's just like it's just amazing how people can figure out how to play a game quick, you know.
Yeah.
Like, but I don't know, I guess, I mean, if you don't want to play video games, that's fine. I mean, obviously it's not like, I mean you could say there's always something better to do, but like I don't know, it's a, I don't know, for me, I grew up playing video games, and rather it be like playing Halo with my family or Tetris, you know, because Tetris is a fun game just to bring people together, right? I don't know, that's all I got.
Alright, what about
I think
you, Soda?
for me, my what I would describe video games, what it means to me at least, is when I play video games, it's a combination of every piece of art out there. You encompass story, you encompass community, you encompass interpretation. Like everything that art is within a video game, and you know you could watch a movie, but you can play a video game, and the moment like you can have a movie play and you can leave and the movie will still be playing, but the video game will only progress if you put in the effort. It's art that you discover yourself, that you can only experience yourself. My suggestion for like an introduction to gaming would be Portal 2 from Valve.
That's a good one.
Portal 2 is a great game. It has a great humor. It has great puzzles. It's really easy to get a hang of what's being asked of you. The characters are a whole bunch of fun, and the story is surprisingly rich. Like, on the surface, you could just breeze through Portal 2 and think nothing of it, and that's fine. Or you could find all the Easter eggs and the deeper, darker history to the game. And that's why I would recommend that would be someone's first introduction into video games, is because that also encompasses everything. It encompasses like literal humor, like up front, but it also encompasses the stuff in the background you don't notice, the different tunes that play the moment you do different things. But yeah, when it comes to gaming, I would say it's an experience like no other. And I know that's a bit cliche, but at the same time, you know, if you like good stories, if you like hanging out with friends, if you like, I don't know, a good time, I would say video games is the thing. I know a lot of people don't like video games. There's a negative connotation, but you know, what's the difference between sitting down playing video games for 2 hours versus someone sitting on a couch eating nachos watching a football game for 2 hours? You know, there's nothing wrong with either of them, but with the football one, you're just watching. But with video games, you can experience it yourself, and you know, that's what video games is to me. Is being able to experience so many things on so many different levels in so many different ways. So, yeah.
Alright. Well, I'm gonna start mine with saying, let me see. How am I gonna start mine? Well, there's a lot of benefits and there's a lot of like negatives that people draw about people that play video games. But I would like to start by saying, have you ever seen people that grew up playing video games and that still play video games into like the later ages have Alzheimer's? No, you don't. Because
good
as
point.
long as you're working on your cognitive abilities and your abilities to like use your mind, you don't develop Alzheimer's. And video games is a great way to do that because you're using your mind the whole time, which is one of the greatest benefits of playing video games. But it's not the only benefit to playing video games. That's just one of the things that, like, if someone says playing video games is useless, that's like one of the things I like to point out is that, like, it's a great way to work your mind, you know. Secondly, like a lot of what you guys said, video games is a great conversation starter. It's a great way to make new friends. One of the things I like to share with people is that my brother met one of his friends online playing video games, and he came out to Hawaii to visit us, and he's from like Colorado or something.
Oh, where?
Yeah, he came out to Hawaii to visit us. It was crazy. Like me and my parents didn't even know who this guy was.
This dude rolls up and your brother's like, "Oh, look, it's him!" And
yeah,
like, who the fuck?
But like, it's a great way to build community. It's a great way to experience like the culture of today, and like to have a story, to watch a story, and to play through the actual story instead of watching the story, you know. And yeah, it's a great way to build community, great way to spend time to relieve stress, and yeah, there's a lot of benefits, and I just don't like that people don't see the benefits and they just paint the bad picture all the time. And that's like one of the things I like to point out. But yeah, on to our next topic. Bro, this podcast is pretty damn long.
I think we should end it here and probably talk about the third part another time.
All right.
Yeah.
Any last closing thoughts from any of you guys?
Yeah, Halo 3 is actually pretty good.
So far, you haven't made an argument for it, so I'm not gonna take your word.
No, I got none. Just play God of War 3, man. It's such a good game. Cream of the crop.
If you guys want to introduce your top fives, leave them down in the comments.
or just say hi, please.
My closing statement is, if you disagree with anything I said about Halo 3, Reach, or anything else, please form an argument that's not based on you had fun as a kid. Nostalgia is great, but it does not fit well with your argument. So if you disagree with me in the comments, just write down why. And if I'm wrong, then I'll say I'm wrong. But other than that, I think I'm right.
Okay. Well,
I think we can all agree, though, for realsies, that video games hold a really good place in our hearts, and we love it. So
Yeah.
yes.
I think.
And movies.
Oh, I'm really sad that we didn't get to do the cartoons now, because now I didn't get to talk about my Star Wars part. Dang.
Damn.
Well, we'll leave that up to the next part. Tune in next time to the $5 Dolphin podcast.